All right. Good afternoon, Chicago, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening for everybody else. Um, Hi again. This is Amir. My name is Amir, as you may know. I'm the IT operations manager of IT for Less. And today we're back with another topic, which is relevant by today's standards and is actually one of the yet another buzzwords. Um, It is going to be about AI, but bear with me. This one is going to be a little bit more interesting in terms of enhancing the productivity to the upstream of yet another level. So, we're going to be talking about AI agents or AI minions. Now, the AI minions is something that companies start to accommodate and get comfortable with on each day, closer and closer into knowing what it does, what kind of features it offers, what really can be accomplished with AI agents or so-called AI minions. So without further ado, I would like to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, we have a beautiful illustration of AI minions just for a short illustration of what's in the further slides. So what is an AI minion? And that might sound a little unusual or might sound familiar to you. So, an AI minion is a smart automated agent programmed to perform specific repetitive tasks autonomously. And you might be asking yourself, well, okay, we have ChatGPT, we have Copilot, we have DeepSeek. So, what is it going to be really about if we already have those kind of platforms? And the answer is ChatGPT like platforms, you ask it and it answers. But at the end of the day, you do the work. You only get the answers from the AI. An AI minion, on the other hand, you define the goal, but does the work for you. So now you kind of switch the roles in terms of not being the doer, but setting the goal of doing and doing what. And to make it more kind of comfortably to get to know is you set a goal for an AI. Let's say you want this task to be run multiple times. Let's say it can be an email, for example, right? You set the goal for that AI minion, and it's going to do it based on the structure that you set it for. So if you can see on the right illustration, it gives you the input. So you set the input. Input could be the request that you want. Let's say Amira has to receive this amount of emails from you on daily basis. Okay, that's one input. And then Amir has to receive those emails at a specific time, let's say 10 a.m., right? That's the second input. The third input might be Amir has to receive those emails to the point that he opens any of these, okay? That's the end goal. So you put three inputs for it, and that's where you start the chain. Now, what would be the second point? And the second point would be for the AI to go into searching on how it can accomplish the goal that you set it. And basically, it's going to set the strategical way of accomplishing the such goal. So, again, you are to determine the goal, and AI's job would be to do that goal, to reach that goal. Now, why you need a digital workforce? And there's a problem to it. So, you ever hear how there's a term of stop working hard, start working smart? At this point, it turned into a cliche, but you still have some kind of truth to that word. And that goes into many ways, such as the hidden cost of context switching and manual repetitive tasks. Just imagine the amount of times you could automate the tasks that you would do on a daily basis. It could be unlimited amount of tasks that you do and still do to the point of doing it today. And some of the examples of time consuming work that can be from your day to day life, that is data entry between apps. You put a data into this one app and then you have to go into another app and enter the same amount of data on the other app. Why? Because you don't have the integration between the two platforms, so they cannot communicate. Sorting and responding to the emails. Well, how many of us would just like to have someone do the responding and scheduling the meetings and invitations and taking care of the email responses on our behalf, right? That would be a lot of time efficient type of tasks that can be done if it's taken care of for us. You have social media scheduling and reporting, so it kind of can work for you as an SMM in that type of scenario. Lead qualifications from forms. So instead of you going into the form submissions and then just trying to figure out, hey, is this the right lead? You assign the right criteria for the AI minion, and the AI minion will just try to find and analyze the amount of form submissions that he's working with. And it's going to, based on the criteria that you've given to the AI, it's going to put everything together, and then it's going to give you the result that might match the best based on the criteria that you've assigned it to. Now, again, it gives you the research and summarization, which you also might be arguing that, hey, ChatGPT does the same thing, right? And so does Copilot. Well, yes, but in this term, AI Minion will not just only give you the research and summarization, but it will also be able to take care of whatever the task it was assigned to make the research for. ChatGPT, on the other hand, hey, you ask it, hey, how do I do this and do this? It gives you the summary, it gives you the action steps, but it has the limitation of not being able to do that. Uh, AI agent or AI minion, on the other hand, takes care of both of the things. So minions in the wild and use case examples, and what can the minions do? It kind of splits into the categories. So first can be marketing minions. It scrapes news for trends, auto post content, generates weekly performance reports, right? So similarly as to what you would call an SMM doing, but that is more of the automated way of scraping the network and the internet for the critiques that you've given it to. And then based on those criterias, it will generate those news, it will generate those leads, it will generate those whatever information that you want it to. It will try to um, get it for you from what it made research on. You got Sales Minion, of course, sounds pretty good. Qualifies leads from a web form, adds them to a CRM, and sends a personalized follow up email, right? So who would not want that thing? Research Minion summarizes long PDF reports, transcripts, or YouTube videos into key bullet points. That is similar to what ChatGPT and Copilot already do, but it goes into a more advanced level for you. And then, of course, is the Personal Minion, which monitors prices for items, finds the best travel deals, organizes your calendar, and that's more of the personal assistant. So as you can see, and you've already following the pattern, is that you have the options of turning your AI agent into so many categories which you might want it to do, which are pretty essential in those scenarios. Now, there's the no code versus pro code. In no code, which is going to be for everyone, and that can be Python. Sorry, for everyone, it could be Zapier and that could be connecting web apps with simple if this, then that kind of logic. You have also Bardeen.ai, and then you have Relay.sh, which is an AI powered automation for more complex tasks. So it kind of depends on your case scenario, whether you want to go no code or go right ahead and use some code for you. Now, for code related AI minions, that can be Python plus libraries like for the Python library, it can be LangChain, Selenium, OpenAI, and for more maximum flexibility and power. For cloud platforms, it can be AWS Lambda, Google Cloud Functions to run your code. So again, it really depends on the case scenario that you are um, targeting it for. And before deciding on which way to go, of course, you would have to determine the amount of hours that you would like to spend on the project or how you would like to execute the project. Would it be a more dev focused project? Would it be more of the operations team taking care of it? So it kind of really depends on the approach you would like to go for any project that you are planning to use the AI minions for. And imagine if you had someone to sort your emails into folders automatically, save important info from websites into a spreadsheet for you, text your team a reminder every morning, and then that's really what an AI minion does. It's a digital helper and it's an AI assistant. It really is flexible in a lot of terms. You can turn it into a calendar assistant. You can turn it into an email assistant. You can turn it into a spreadsheet assistant. As long as you have a clear goal on what your expectations are from the AI minion or AI agent, you are going to receive those expected results. And again, no AI is perfect, and it probably is far away from it for now. For now, don't quote me on it. But again, as long as you have the clear goals and clear expectations from AI agent, it will reach those. Now, if you look at your own work, like, do you manually add names from a sign up form to an email list? And do you copy and paste the same information often? Do you check website repeatedly for the same info, like a price or time? And in all these terms and all of these key points, the answer would be that yes, an AI minion is able to do it. So let's start from the manually adding names from a sign up form to an email list, okay? You build the AI minion or you rent an AI minion or agent, you set it up specifically for the task that you want to add manually those kind of names from this form, and you specify clearly so that they have only one task, and that is to just do specifically that, right? So it's not called an AI minion for nothing. It has only one clear goal, and it has to execute that really only clear goal just so that it doesn't confuse any of the key points or any of the unnecessary or confused type of projects. And then apart from that, it can do a lot of things that you are already doing in terms of copy and pasting the same information, right? So why won't we just spend more time into thinking on how the AI minion will help us on efficiently using our day-to-day work hours into putting it somewhere else, right? And these repetitive tasks that we're doing can be taken care of by our beloved AI agents. And then, do you check websites repeatedly for the same info, like a price? You would go to an Amazon, right? You would spend probably at least good 20 minutes or 30 minutes into trying to find the right deal. But on the other hand, Walmart has another option, which is much more affordable, right? But you would probably never look into it because you're stuck and still trying to find a good deal on Amazon, right? But an AI agent would do that in a matter of seconds, honestly. So really depends on your clear goal and what you expect it to do for you. And then for the Microsoft Office or Microsoft 365 workspace, there is also an integration, which is the Minion automations with MS Power Automate. Now, Power Automate is particularly what an AI agent or AI minion would do. However, Microsoft has added the specified AI agent section, and it's under development for further implementations with Microsoft Power Automate. But currently, what's widely available is the Power Automate and the functionalities that you can automate and basically use it to automate your tasks. So things like of the use cases and cross industries that might be using it is for healthcare, like sending an appointment reminders to reduce no shows. Right. So if you have a large list of wait lists, right, and if any time slot is available for you, I mean, for the attendant, they don't really have to wait much longer until somebody just reaches out to them and lets them know that, hey, you're able to do that. In case if there is someone that decides not to show up, that automated process will just make it so that there is no there is no busy slot for someone who's not going to show up. And that will reduce the time for the client waiting and also will help you out on reducing the wait list and the amount of people in there. Retail, it can trigger restock notifications when inventory is low. So let's suppose you have a Microsoft sheet or Microsoft list, and depending on the criteria that you assign to Microsoft Power Automate, let's say that the quantity of the laptops that you have and you think you should get a notification if the laptops are less than 5 quantity, then you would assign a notification to that function so that it sends it to you or any desired email. So next time when there is a reduced amount of those laptops in the inventory, you are going to get a notification from that point instead of going manually into checking how many laptops you have, right? So that is another great and brilliant way of reducing that type of going back and forward. Manufacturing, automate IoT based quality or maintenance notifications. So let's say one of the IoT devices is down or something, some of the devices require some checkup, right? So the AI agent will be able to take care of that by setting the right notifications and health statuses for any IoT device that you enroll it into and give it access to have into any of those devices. Inventory and back office automations, like monitor stock levels and trigger low stock alerts or reorder flows, used effectively by companies such as Coca-Cola, by the way. And then report generation and backup, like automate data extraction and compile reports for distribution, also set up scheduled data backups across systems. And then with Power Automate, you can also do the meeting scheduling and planner tasks. Like Power Automate can schedule meetings based on availability, send invites, and handle reschedules or cancellations. It can automatically generate recurring tasks in Microsoft Planner with reminders for daily, weekly, or monthly cycles. So that alone is a very time efficient or time saving automation. And then with Microsoft Power Automate, you can do social media and content management, like let's say automatically schedule posts on LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook when a blog publishes. Build content approval flows like submit drafts, send to approves, and track version control and feedback using Microsoft Power Automate. Some of the other helpful features with Microsoft Power Automate is, let me see if I can zoom this in a little bit. Okay. Right. So as you can see, we have this whole structure going on. So starting from apply to each list of expressions for this sheet. And first thing, it starts when a new response is submitted. And this is basically a chain of actions. So it's going to apply to each form submission. It's going to get the response details. It's going to send the manager notification for responders, and then start an approval. And that's going to assign to any email that you choose to do it for. And for more information, so automatically save attachments from incoming emails based on rules like sender, keywords, SharePoint, or other storages. Generate follow-up emails after certain periods, such as check-in or reminders. Approval, workflow, and automated notifications, which is the screenshot what is being referred to. So automate expense documents or leave approvals with automatic notifications to approvers and stakeholders. Trigger notification based on form submissions or system events critical for timely actions. So let's say you receive a notice leave or any day off leave. If you automate it with Microsoft Power Automate or an AI agent or AI minion, that response will be automatically sent to you, so that you just, the only thing that you will be required to do is just approve. Or in case if you want to go into automatically doing the process, what you can do is you can set a criteria, and based on that criteria, if it thinks that this response is suitable for the notification or for the day off, then it's going to respond to that day off or leave notification on your behalf without really bothering you. Okay. So, ready to use minion ideas that you can steal right now. For personal life, that can be News Minion. Text you a summary of the top 3 news stories every morning, for example. Right. Shopping Minion, track a product page and email you when the price drops. There might be something that you're really hunting for, but it goes out of stock pretty frequently. And instead of you just refreshing the page every time, it would just let you know. In fact, I'll just give a very fun fact. If we go back to 2020, that's when the PlayStation 5 sales were very bad in terms of the scalpers, we would call them. There is that term of scalpers. So what they would do is they would launch AI bots, and whenever the PlayStation company would put the in stock parameter, right? So they would go into the PlayStation Store.com, and if the AI bot recognizes that the PlayStation 5 is in stock, right, it would automatically purchase that device or that stock which is available, and that would lead to the scalpers acquiring that stock. And what happened is that they would sell it off eBay or any other store at a at twice of a higher price than what PlayStation was offering. And what happened is that at the end of the day, the shortage of the stock happened. Many of the people struggled to acquire a PlayStation 5 because of that reason. And what happened is those AI bots came into play. So that again is an old type of way of getting the example of how the shopping works, which I don't recommend the way of doing that, but that is something that happened on real day and real time scenarios. So you might be asking and seeing is that AI bot can be both useful and kind of harmful in a way, but really depends on the use case, right? So you can turn that AI bot into a really useful feature, and you can also be like a guy of a scalper and use it in a bad way, which is something that I would not like to witness. For business purposes, there can be a lead minion. Send a Slack message to your sales channel when a new high value lead signs up, right? And then content minion, turn a blog post title into 5 social media posts using AI. Um, Again, very flexible in all of these terms, and you can just use it the way you want. And then there is the building minions that don't go rogue. So what would you have to do in order to kind of don't go into that way? So you would have to start small. Automate one tiny task perfectly before expanding. And in that term, you would always have to test. Make sure that you put the correct amount and stages of testing before deploying it to your main tenant or your network. Otherwise, there could be a lot of bad consequences. Add error handling. What happens if a website is down or an API fails, right? You would have to have some emergency kind of scenarios, and the AI minion or AI bot or AI agent would have to act accordingly. So there should be fail safes on this case scenario as well. And then you would have to log everything. So keep records of what your minion does for debugging and make sure that it, for any reason, if there is any reason that it got hacked and it developed a backdoor, make sure that every log is there so that for further development and any update that you would need to make into that AI minion, you have the track of what it functions or how it functions, in what way, and in what scenario. And then you would also have to have a human in the loop at the end of the day. So for critical actions like sending money, you would require human approval before the final step, right? So there are limitations of um, AI minions, and those limitations is not really technical kind of limitations, but it's more of the responsibility type of limitation. So you would have to, at some point, you would have to keep an eye on the AI bot and what it functions and how it functions. So sending a payroll would not always be a good idea of having it be dependent in on the AI minion. That's something that you would need to take care of yourself. And then again, security first. So never hard code API keys, use environment variables or secure vaults. And for building minions that don't go rogue again, you would have to define clear boundaries, like restrict the minion to save specific tasks and avoid risky actions. Keep it transparent, clearly inform users that it's an AI and explain its capabilities and data use. Use role appropriate access, grant only the minimum permissions needed for each integration. Make sure you don't give a global administrator access. That is a very bad idea. Validate inputs and outputs. So clean inputs and filter outputs to ensure safety, accuracy, and appropriateness. So some of the tasks that kind of might be useful for it. So add event to Google Calendar and only allow event creation, not deletion. So you want to make sure that you give the right permission and right criteria. And then security tip would be to use it with OAuth with scoped access. Send Slack messages, for example, that kind of a task that we wanted to perform. We'd have to log every message sent and make sure that even if it made a wrong message delivery, you would fix it next time. And the security tip would be to prevent messages with personal identifier information. Generate text with AI, set system prompts and content filters. You want to make sure that it doesn't really go out of random and generate 18 plus content. And security tip would be to limit length, avoid sensitive topics, and etc. So API key hygiene, never hard code secrets in code. Use environment variables or secret managers like Zapier secrets or AWS secret manager. Rotate keys periodically and immediately revoke compromised keys. So that is something you would have to keep an eye on. Data handling and privacy. Store only what you need and not anything more. Audit access logs for sensitive data and don't train AI models on user data unless explicitly allowed and anonymized. So I know that AI minions and AI agents can do a lot of work for us, but security comes first. Security always comes first, and that is something that you would have to take into consideration before even building an AI minion to make sure that you are not wasting your time into creating an AI minion and at the end of the day, you just find it that it's going to really integrate with security. So you would have to kind of use security and AI minions in a separate space. You would have to kind of quarantine it from a very sensitive information and make sure that it doesn't have the access to it. And then again, rate limits, abuse protection, add rate limiting to prevent abuse, too many requests to APIs, just to make sure that you're not getting unnecessary traffic to your website or to your tenant, which might be a Microsoft tenant, right? Block repeated suspicious commands or access patterns, just so you don't fall into DDoS or any access attempts from hackers. Error handling. Don't let the bot crash silently. Always have the log errors and notify admins in case of any downtime of the AI bot, and show user-friendly error messages, not raw traceback or internal info, right? So you would also have to have clear communication with the end user, what be it your staff member, and also make sure that you are giving the clear information. So if the AI minion would crash, you don't want it to give 1006Z.1 error. Like the user would freak out, they would panic, they would not understand what's going on. But if something like the current AI minion is down, please try again later, or please reach out to your administrator, that is much more user friendly, and the user would not panic. They would not think that they got breached, they would not think that something is going on with their endpoint, and so on. So what's next? The autonomous future. And we all know that is something is ahead, and it's going to, at the end of the day, it's going to be very much integrated into all of the platforms that we're using. So multi-step reasoning, minions that can complete complex multi-part goals, for example, plan and book my entire vacation. That is something that can be actually done already, at least if not completely, but ChatGPT for widespread of community, ChatGPT does that work. It just suggests you whatever you want to go, and as long as you give it the clear path of where you want to go, how you want to spend, what's your budget, it will just write out everything for you. Self-improvement, agents that can analyze their own performance and suggest improvements. So one of the main kind of improvements from fixed code and AI is that AI learns over time. It's given that it's using the machine learning, it's going to adapt and it's going to improve from its past mistakes and past complexity. Agent swarms, so teams of minions working together on a single large project. That is actually a very helpful use case scenario. So let's say you are building a Azure deployment, right? So you would have to have one of the agents get the domain registered, the other agent would be creating users, the other one would be assigning the licenses, and so on and so forth. So you would not have to wait the agent to finish and then move to the next one, but you can do all of that simultaneously at the same time. And that would greatly, and again, it would tremendously help out on saving time. And your digital workforce avoids. So identify repetitive tasks that drain your time. Choose the right tool for your skills. No code versus code. That again depends on how you would like to go and depends on the end goal. Start with small, well-defined automation and build with security and error handling in mind. So always and always keep that in mind. And then empower yourself to focus on high-value creative work. So not only that it's an AI that you would have to keep it on doing whatever it is doing, but you also have to get creative and try to find the shortcuts of the AI doing it too. So sometimes the AI might think that you would have to take 3 steps, but in reality, it might take 2 steps. So in that case, you would have to jump in and rewrite the prompt that you gave it, or improve the prompt that you gave it, and then also give your suggestions as well, just so you both work on a shorter path of what's coming. And yes, that's actually it. So thank you so much. And again, we always say, I think we said that in the previous webinars as well, security comes first. Make sure that you always have security in mind. Whatever you are creating, whatever you are deploying, always have security in mind so that it comes first on your plate. But that's it for our AI minions, and I hope you enjoyed our webinar. We also have a lot to come next month, and again, we always strive to have those webinars at the interesting point, and so that both of the parties can um, use it to their benefits. So yeah, thank you very much. I'll see you in the next webinar. My name is Amir, and talk to you later. Bye bye.